tax season. It's that time of the year.
I honestly don't like taxes.
I know one of the big benefits we talk about at Vermont Family Programs is the Military One Source. It's a free service to you. Don't scoff at it. It's great. Save you a couple bucks.
Let's talk emergency fund. Gotta have one. You have to have an emergency fund. Well, have some fun. I'm not the type of financial counselor that's gonna tell you sit at home, don't have fun. Don't blow it all.
Lottery tickets are fun.
Yeah, they can be.
Welcome back, everybody, to our next episode of Kitchen Spoons and Combat Boots. This is episode number 3. Today, we're going to be focusing on tax season. It's that time of the year. So we brought in Megan Sather, our personal financial counselor, to talk a little bit about tax season, the military, the Vermont Army National Guard, and kind of just go from there. Hopefully, we can put out some information that people didn't know and people can get some help with their taxes. So welcome back, Megan.
Thanks for having me back.
You're our first time second repeater on episode number 3. So what has Megan been up to since the last episode? How are things in the finance world?
Keeping busy, definitely. Taxes, it usually gears up and everybody starts asking, where can I get my taxes done? How can I get my taxes done? So we're going to talk about some options with that. And that's pretty much it.
I know the tax websites are really good at, I clicked the button to start, I logged in, I did my code. Now it's sending me emails over and over. Finish your taxes, finish your taxes. And I'm like, well, I hit the button too early this year because I got plenty of time. Now they're going to email me the whole time. But so, yeah, what does tax season look like for Megan? You got a bunch of new customers, a lot of new soldiers, or what's going on?
So for me, my biggest restriction is I can't do taxes. So I'm a referral. People come to me with tax questions, and I'm usually referring them to the resources that are out there because I don't do taxes. I'm not licensed to do taxes, and I honestly don't like taxes. I don't even like doing my own taxes, but we all have to do them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the software, I think you mentioned this earlier, a lot of the software builds in all of the rules, and especially for service members, all the deductions, all the entitlements. That usually goes right through the software, right?
Yes. That's the awesome thing about doing it. If you're doing like a H&R Block or Tax Act or any of those, they build it in, and it's really user friendly. It's asking questions, yes or no, and then it tells you which tax forms you need to fill in and what credits you could possibly have that maybe you didn't even think about. And so it's awesome that they ask all those questions and walk you through it.
Yeah.
It's really user friendly when they do the big platforms. They're really easy to use. So a lot of people, like me, I don't like taxes, but I go through the platform and it does ask me all the questions and it fills it all out for me. So it makes it really user friendly and for the most part, idiot proof, which is great for me.
Yeah. I know one of the big benefits we talk about at Vermont Family Programs is the Military One Source has the free taxes for, I think it's service members, immediate family, veterans, retirees. Mm-hmm. I know there's limits based on, what your status is, but for the most part, most National Guard soldiers don't even have to pay to get their taxes done.
Right.
Current ones, because they're just going through the Military One Source. And that's a big thing that we try to push out of family programs is why are you spending money to do your taxes?
Right.
And along with not having to pay, I believe it comes with the tax consultants.
Definitely, yeah. So Military One Source every year contracts with one of the big platforms. They usually do H&R Block, and that's who it is again this year. And so you go in there, and for the first time this year in the Military One Source realm, they're going to make sure that you're eligible to use this mil tax, and you have to be in DEERS. So they are going to they're going to check your DEERS eligibility and make sure you're enrolled, and then they will let you go into mil tax. And then not only do you get the H&R Block software and all of their insurance, which says that if it's wrong, we'll fix it. Military One Source also has tax consultants that you can ask questions. They won't do your taxes for you. They won't do the entire thing and walk you through page by page, but you can ask them specific questions. And so it's a great resource and it's free. There's no fee to talk to these people. And normally out in the civilian world, you'd have to pay a fee.
I have actually remember I've called the consultants once a couple of years ago doing my taxes. Mm-hmm. They took my name, they took my number, and they actually called me back at a designated time to go through everything top to bottom. And it was a pretty intricate question.
Yep.
And I was impressed. This I believe it was a lady, just walked me through everything. And she's like, okay, this is it. You can put this in an envelope, send this there. And then like, it was top to bottom. I was super satisfied with that. So I recommend, if you're not using Military OneSource for your taxes and you're a Vermont National Guard service member, it's a free service to you. Don't scoff at it. It's great. Save you a couple bucks. And once you get used to it, I've used it for years and years and years. It's just, it flows. It flows pretty good.
It does. And it's online. So, I mean, it's not like you have to make an appointment, drive somewhere, do it all. You just do it in your own home. You can start and stop it. It's not something you have to sit down and do all at once. I mean, I paid $40 to do my taxes. I would much rather do something else with $40.
And that's cheap.
Yeah.
$40 is pretty cheap. Most of the regulations and stuff, we were trying to look up a lot of stats on what we could talk about for taxes, but tax.vermont.gov is going to be like the governing authority that has all the rules and regulations for exemptions for military service members, National Guard members, whether you're a resident or non-resident. And there's just so much stuff there.
Right.
I don't think it makes two cents to get into the weeds about it.
Because everybody's different. So you never know what everybody's situation is.
Right.
Yeah.
I know a couple big things. We just had service members come back from deployment, and they were all over the world in a lot of combat places. So I know that there is a combat service extension that deployed service members, when they come home, they can utilize. Right. And I think that gives them 180 days, 6 months of extension time to be able to do their taxes.
Right.
I think
you don't want to have to rush. I mean, let's just chill out and get used to being back and then worry about taxes.
Yep. So for all those coming back who just deployed, you have a little bit of extra time. Yeah. Check with your local office, though, to make sure that you get that extension. I believe they look for proof of your orders and stuff like that. So it's definitely free extra time. Make sure you put in the paperwork for it. Don't just take my word for it. And then disabled veterans, I believe over 50% right now can apply for the property tax credit. That's a big one that we've been getting hit with. I talked to our outreach members, and they said a lot of our disabled veterans reach out. So that's a form and a letter saying that you're above 50%. You file those, and you'll get I don't know how big of a deduction it is, but it's a deduction for your property taxes, which is really nice. I mean, so tax money. You get a big chunk back. What am I doing with it this year, Megan? Where do I go? Where do I put it?
Yeah. So
what's the rule?
I got 3 things I like to say when, you come up with a bunch of cash, what should you do with it? First thing is, let's talk emergency fund. And I know y'all are probably sick of hearing it, but gotta have one. You have to have an emergency fund, and let's shoot for 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. I don't want anything crazy like 3 years. Okay, let's just shoot for 3 to 6 months. So if you're that person that already has that emergency fund, maybe there's a credit card you want to pay off. And then if you've got your emergency fund, you have no credit cards that you need to worry about paying off. So let's look at a reserve account. Maybe you want to go on vacation. Maybe you want to start paying your renter's insurance all once a year instead of making the monthly payments. Or your car insurance, you want to pay it every 6 months instead of every single month. So let's put that money away in a reserve account, and then you can start paying these things. But have some fun. I'm not the type of financial counselor that's going to tell you, sit at home, don't have fun. You should do some fun things with this money, but don't blow it all. Do some good things with it too.
Lottery tickets are fun.
Yeah, they can be. They can definitely be, scratch offs or instant gratification if you're really into that. But yeah, have some fun with the money. Definitely, because it's your money. You earned it.
Yeah, I agree. And everything we talk about today for tax purposes, we're going to be posting this podcast on our Facebook page, on our Instagram. If you're not following our Facebook page, NGVT Family Programs, same thing with Instagram. We're going to be putting all of our YouTube videos here, all of our podcasts. So check those places out if you want to come and see, what we're talking about as far as taxes. I feel like the taxes have been so weird, just with like COVID and a lot of the rules. We got a lot of extra money pushed to us in the front. The president pushed us extra money, and then you had to pay more. So is it looking like are we back to a normal tax year? Yeah,
for the most part. Other than the fact that they're in the process of voting on the child tax credit and how they're going to change that. Other than that, it's a relatively normal tax year. Like there isn't anything crazy that you need to worry about getting extra paperwork to prove something or other. It's a relatively basic tax year.
So yeah, it's a really long tax season. Thank you for taking your time and coming here to be with us. I know that people are beating down your door to get financial advice, tax advice. So really appreciate you coming in. What's the best way that you want people to get in contact with you?
One of the quickest ways is through email. So meganjsather.ctr@army.mil. Quickest way to reach me is email. And if you want to do budgets, you want to sit down and talk credit reports, I do in-person appointments. Over the phone, I do team appointments. So I can meet you, wherever you need so that we can talk about money.
Perfect. File your taxes. Don't forget.
Yes.
So recap NGVT family programs. Make sure you like and follow our Facebook page. Stay up to date on all of our current content, information, podcasts, and such. We're also on Instagram. We're building those followers. So find us there. I was going to say something witty about Tandy. I think
Tandy, for those of you who don't know me, is my miniature dachshund, and she has her own Instagram page.
Well, Tandy needs to come and follow us.
Yes, she does. She follows family programs,
and we'll return. We'll make sure that we return that follow. But yes, thank you so much for tuning into our Kitchen Spoons and Combat Boots podcast for this month, for March. Good luck on your taxes, and if you guys need anything, we're going to be posting this, our informational below this video in the top comment. So we'll have everything accessible to you guys. And that's all that I have for you. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us. For more information or support, please reach out to the Vermont Military Family Support Center's toll-free number, 888-607-8773. The preceding content does not constitute endorsement by the Department of the U.S. Army, U.S. Air Force, Vermont National Guard, or Vermont Military Family Programs of the organization's products and services contained therein. Further, the Vermont Military Family Programs assumes no responsibility for the consequences of using the products or services provided by the organizations or resources listed. Vermont Military Family Programs makes every effort to present our clients with reputable resources. We cannot guarantee the validity of said resources, and the use of such resources is voluntary.